All right, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for being here or for watching online. We have a minyan, so let the heavens rejoice and the earth be glad for that. Page 6, Yismechu Hashamayim. Yismechu Hashamayim. Yismechu Hashamayim. Yismechu Hashamayim. V'tageh haaretz. Yiram hayam. Yiram hayam. Yiram hayam u'melo'o. Yiram hayam. Yiram hayam. Yiram hayam u'melo'o. Right, let us head to page 9. Mizmor l'Adonai shir chadash, ki nifla'ot asa. Hoshia lo yemino, uzro'a kodsho. Ay, na'odia Adonai Yeshuato, le'enei hagoyim. Ki latzidkato, zachar chasto ve'emunato, lebeit Yisrael koranu kol afsei aretz, et Yeshuat Eloheinu, hariu l'Adonai kol haaretz. Yitzchu v'ronenu v'zameru, zam l'Adonai v'chinor, v'chinor v'kol zimra, v'chatzotrot v'kol shofar, riu livnei hamelech Adonai. Yiram hayam u'melo'o, tevel v'yoshbeva, ne'arot imcha u'chaf, Yachar harim yiraneinu, Adonai ki iba, yishbot haaretz, yishbot tevel v'tzedek, ve'amim v'meisharim. Yenai, nai, 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 yenai, nai, 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 oh yenai, nai, 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 yenai, nai, nai. All right, page 12, Romamu. Random question. It's not really random, but it has no place being right where it is in the service. Just it came to my head. How many of you would be comfortable moving into the chapel after Passover? Raise your hand if you think you would. Anyone would not be in this group. It's okay. Yeah.
Oh.
All right. I'm taking a survey, which is not a representative sample of the congregation, but it is kind of a representative of who might come. Yeah. So, all right. Alan, you raise your hand. You'd be okay with it or no? All right. Page 12. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu behar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu behar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu behar kodsho. page 13.
וישבר אדוני את ארזי הלבנון וירגירם כמו עגל לבנון לסיריון כמו בן רעיני כל אדוני כותב לבוא אש כל אדוני יחיר מדבר יחיר אדוני בקרש כל אדוני יכול אל איילות ויקסו יערוב והעלות כולו אומר כבוד איי אדוני למה הוא ישב וישב אדוני מלך לעולם אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום היי
All right, Lecha Dodi, page 15. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kalai, Yalalai, 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 Pnei Shabbat, Nekapela. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kalai, Yalalai, 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 Pnei Shabbat, Nekapela. Shamor v'zachor v'tibor echad, Ishmiyanu el hameyuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, v'shemo tiferet ve'elim kila. Lecha Dodi Likrat Kalai, Yalalai, 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 Pnei Shabbat, Nekapela. Lecha Dodi Likrat Kalai, Yalalai, 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 Pnei Shabbat, Nekapela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'necha, ki mekor habracha. Meirosh mikedem nesucha, sof ma'aseh b'machasha b'tfila. Lecha Dodi Likrat Kalai, Yalalai, 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 Pnei Shabbat, Nekapela. Lecha Dodi Likrat Kalai, Yalalai, 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 Pnei Shabbat, Nekapela. Bottom of 17. Yamin u'shmol tifrotzi, ve'et Adonai taritzi. Al yanish be'artzi, ve'nismecha ve'nachila. Lecha Dodi Likrat Kalai, Yalalai, 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 Pnei Shabbat, Nekapela. Dodi Likrat Kalai, Yalalai, 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 Pnei Shabbat, Nekapela. We rise and face the entrance, saying, "Welcome to Barbara." The bride.
אוי ושלום עטרת פלה, גם בשמחה ובזאת עולה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי כלה, בואי כלה, לחדותי לקראת כלה, יללה, 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 בני שבת נקבלה, לחדותי לקראת כלה, יללה, 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 בני שבת
We say to any mourners in our midst, Hamakom Nechamechem B'tok Sharav Le'Tzion B'Yerushalayim. May God comfort you with all the mourners of Zion and Jerusalem. We may be seated. We're on page 19.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון, והגיד בבוקר פסתך, ואמונתך בנו, עלי עשור ועלי נבל, עלי היגיון והינון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון.
Continue silently, 19 and 20.
צדיק אתה המר יפרח, כרז בלבנון ישגה, שתולים בבית אדוני בחצרות אלוהינו יפריחו, עוד ינובון בשיבה, דשנים ורעננים יהיו, להגיד כי ישר אדוני צורי ולא עוולת בו.
Aram Melach Yot Lavesh, Lavesh Adonai Tazar, Afti Konter Lebal Timot, Achon Kisacha Me'et Lamata, Sunerot Adonai, Sunerot Kalam, Yisunerot Doch Yam. Mikol Mayim, Mayim Rabim Adirim, Mishmereyam, Adir Bamaron, Adonai. Erotecha Nehemnu Me'od, Lebeitecha Nava, Kodesh Adonai, Me'olech Yamin. Please rise for the Baruch Hu, page 22. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. You may be seated. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bivaro ma'ariv haravim. Yom v'layla or mipnei choshech v'choshech mipnei or. Yom uvein layla, mavdil bein yom uvein layla. Adonai tzvaot shemo, el chai v'kayam tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai ha'ma'ariv haravim. 24. Ahavat olam bein Yisrael, Amcha ahaveta, Amcha ahaveta. Torah u'mitzvot
בשוכבנו, קומנו לשיח בחוקיך, ונשמח בדברי תורתך, ומצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו, ואורך ימינו, ובהם נקיים בלילה, נקיים יום בלילה. ועבדתך אל תסיר, ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל, אוהב עמו ישראל.
Page 25.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, bechol levavecha, ubechol nafshecha, ubechol meodecha, ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele, asher anuchi metzavecha, hayom al levavecha, v'shinantam levanecha, v'dibarta b'am, v'shiftecha b'veitecha, uvlechtecha b'derech, uv'shokbecha uv'kumecha, uv'kshartam leo al yadecha, v'hayu totafot bein einecha, uv'travtam al mezuzot beitecha, uv'isharecha hayam.
We continue silently, 27 through 29.
למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים אלוהיכם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Page 32, Machut Tov Ratzon Kiblu Lehem, Moshe v'Nesra Chanashira b'Simcha Rabba, v'Emru Chulam.
Yai lai 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 yai lai 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 yai lai 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 yai lai 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 lai. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha ne'ezer b'kodesh, noratehi lo osefele, noratehi lo osefele. מלכותך רעו בניך, חוקי הים לפני משה. זה אלי אנו ואמרו, זה אלי אנו ואמרו. אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד.
Yaakov, Chazak Mimenu, Baruch Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael. Page 33, that was we haven't done that one in a long time, that was the late Debbie Friedman's second Mi Chamocha. The first one, a lot of kids at camp back in the 70s and 80s knew it, but it wasn't as good. It was she developed significantly as a musician as she grew with experience. 33, Hashkivenu. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Leshalom Ve'amidenu Malkeinu Lechaim Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Leshalom Ve'amidenu Malkeinu Lechaim Shalom me'ata ve'ad olam. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Lishalom. Hashkivenu Adonai Sukkot Shlomecha, Baruch Atah Adonai, Haparei Sukkot Shalom Aleinu, V'Kol Yisrael V'Al Yerushalayim. Please rise for V'Shamru, page 34. V'Shamru B'nei Yisrael, Et HaShabbat, La'asot Et HaShabbat, Le'dotam Be'rut Olam. B'nei Yisrael, Oti le'olam, Oti le'olam, Oti le'olam. Shamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, la'asot et HaShabbat le'dorotam be'rut olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai, את השמיים ואת הארץ ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם וביום השביעי שבת וינפש שבת וינפש שבת וינפש שמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. 35. Yikra v'yikra shmei Rabba Yamadi brach Yerutei v'avnit mafutei v'chayeh Yomegam Ufayeh Ol Beit Yisrael Ba'agala Uvizman Kariv Imeru Yehei Shmei Rabba Mevorach Ve'olam Lel Me'almaya Yitbarach Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitbar v'yirman v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmil kudsha Le'elam minko berchata v'shirata Shushbechata v'nechemata Tamiran v'alma v'meru. Private Amidah, pages 37 through 48, and when you get to the page with the gray box, which is 44, you recite that passage as it is Rosh Chodesh tonight, beginning of Nisan.
That's 17.
Pick up. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech Adon lechol hashgadol. Ki ata hu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tov be'einecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Jacqueline, you up for it? Y'all, your mom's going to come on up here. She's going to lead us on page 49, Matbea Tefillah.
ויבולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה וישבות ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו, אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב, אלוהי שרה, אלוהי רבקה, אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, קונה שמיים בארץ. מגן אבות בדברו, מחיי מתים במאמרו, האל הקדוש שאין כמוהו, המניח לעמו ביום שבת קודשו. כי בם רצה להניח לכם, כי בם רצה להניח לכם, לפניו נעבוד ביראה ופחד, ונודה לשמו בכל יום תמיד, מאת הרבות. אל ההודעות, אדון השלום, מקדש השבת ובורך שבי, ומניח בקדושה, ויעמיק בשני עונג, זכר למעשה בראשית. אלוהינו אלוהי אבותינו רצה ומנוחתנו, קדשנו במצוותיך ותן חלקנו בתורתך. שמנו מטובך ושמחנו לשועתך, וטהר ליבנו לעבדך באמת, והנחילנו אדוני אלוהינו באהבה וברצון שבת קודשך, וינובה ישראל מקדשי שמך. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
Amen. Kaddish Shalem.
יקרא ויקרא שמי רבה, ועלמד וברכרתי וימליך מלכותי, וחייכנו וימיכנו וחיינו בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ימרו. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם ולעלמיה יתברך. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם וינשא, יתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשה. לעילה מכל ברכתה ושירתה, תשבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמד ימרו. תתקבל צלותינו ובהותינו דכל ישראל, קודמו ובהון דבישמיה וימרו. יהי שלום רב מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל וימרו. עושה שלום במרומיו, ויעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל וימרו.
Yasher Koach. Right, so for our history lesson, rather than from our files, as I started last week, I'm just going to do a few weeks on the stuff I found in the files at the American Jewish Archives at Hebrew Union College in Cincinnati. And what's there, as in a lot of places like that, you should not assume are the most important documents of a particular congregation, just what ended up there. And last week it was a Hanukkah carnival, for which which they used to have, and we didn't even know what year, although I could do a better job looking it up, because we know there was a Raider game, but there's a Raider game every Sunday, and we know it was on it was the last Sunday in November, so it would have been when Hanukkah's early that year. We know the Raiders were good 60s and 70s because they're predicting a victory, and we know they're in Oakland. But anyway, the fun part of that flyer was the prizes, great prizes, especially transistor radios, which they gave away every hour. And then I realized there was somebody who owned a radio and TV store and sold a lot of those, and that's why I realized that later as one of the people who was considered for the board.
Simon.
What was the name?
Al Simon.
Al Simon. Thank you.
Simcoe was the company.
I love it.
That's this here?
Yeah, you remember the congregation, and
I dated his daughter.
for posterity, Alan
Way
dated his
before
daughter
Cheryl.
before Cheryl, while Cheryl was dating a future rabbi. But that's another.
Shot.
Okay. Anyway, it's true. Anyway, so this is also in there, and it was a pamphlet of a United Synagogue conference that met at Temple Beth Abraham on March 2nd, 1969. And the pamphlet is called With Faith in Our Future. And I'll read you a little bit about the program. And it'll be interesting for you and all of us to decide what issues are still relevant and are exactly the same and what are very different. And the one I'm going to, without actually, these won't come up, but whether the movement and unions and you know the idea that there is a conservative movement with a United Synagogue organization is very different than today. I mean, we still have one, but they were more organizational then, and that theme's going to come up tomorrow when I talk about Hebrew Union College in Cincinnati as well. Anyway, here's it is. This conference is the beginning of a series of future meetings to unite our conservative congregations. To strengthen each other through contact and exchange, the individual congregation will contribute to our collective effectiveness. This initial executive conference is limited to the professional and lay leaders and members of boards of directors. It began at 10 a.m. right here in the sanctuary with greetings by none other than Rabbi Harold Schulweis, nearing the end of his tenure here in 1969 and finished in 1970. Then there were various workshops. One was held in the chapel, the social action workshop. Purpose: should the synagogue speak out on social issues? How do you distinguish political from moral issues? Should the board speak for the congregation? In the Temple Youth House, which was, I believe, 341 MacArthur, but not in its current iteration. In fact, we had it then, we sold it, and we bought it back.
Right.
At a huge loss.
We're still
But same building. This one, youth activities with Chairman Roy Lee, the regional youth chairman, and Mrs. Morris Andor, the regional youth director. Purpose: to introduce the regional director to begin the coordinated United Synagogue youth programs in this region, to exchange ideas as well as finding new regional programs. And I don't know how old you were then, but I suspect you were more involved in BYO at that time. In 1969, you were.
That was red.
You were in. That was your teenage years.
I was regional Gadol.
You were the regional Gadol, and they were trying to up the United
But
Synagogue.
USY, and I was PO.
Yeah, so yeah, they should have had you in as a guest speaker.
Got it.
Anyway, pretty funny. And then there is administration, and that was held in the office with Executive Director Rabbi Jerry Danzig. Purpose: to review the newer trends in
Not
temple
dead,
administration, board procedures and activities, membership evaluation, and due structure. And then there was the adult education. The discussant was Dr. Edward Tamler. In the room, the Cantor Study, which I think is the library. Okay? Purpose: to initiate new ideas for adult education in our congregations. This is a vital and neglected area which must be resolved to create a loyal and intelligent Jew and synagogue member. Exactly. Then there's 12:30 p.m. is lunch in the social hall, followed by Birkat Hamazon. Then at 1:30, there's a rabbinical meeting for the rabbis in the chapel, led by Rabbi Saul White of Beth Shalom in San Francisco. And there's a college youth in the sanctuary, college youth in the University of Judaism, by Dr. Azriel Eisenberg, the Executive Director of the Board of Jewish Education of New York City. And here's the topic: where are the Jewish college youth? What is their Jewish future? How to tie in Temple Youth with the University of Judaism, which is now called the American Jewish University, whose property is being sold,
Oh,
which I'll also talk about tomorrow. It'll go for, I would say at least $100 million, but that's for another time. And to elect regional chairman of the University of Judaism. Then finally at 3 p.m. everyone comes back to the sanctuary where they discuss what is United Synagogue, presided by Mr. Henry N. Rappaport, president of the National United Synagogue of America, who I believe is a relative of Deborah Reback. I need to follow up on that. And there's a discussion of developing a creative region, regional offices, officials, future conclaves, nominations and elections, workshop reports. Then they're going to take a 4:30 p.m. tour to the Magnus Museum, and then they're going to install the officers at dinner in the social hall. And that was the conference. So it's kind of interesting to see what was on their minds.
You saw this where?
So there's a file on Temple Beth Abraham in the American Jewish Archives, which is it's an archives in Cincinnati. It is like the only one of its kind. Various libraries, but it's a major archive, and any topic, any congregation, you ask to see what they have. There were a few other things in there as well. Besides the flyer, there was articles on a political debate between congressional candidates, which was held here. That's not taking a position. That's actually, but still, it was controversial. And there's a picture of our ark when it was new, kind of. And then there were 2 sermons of mine, and the only reason they're there is because they were asking when the Iraq War was taking place, if any rabbis covered the sermon, could you please submit them? And so they're not even written out, they're just my outlines.
like our mitzvah Josh wasn't there.
Your bar mitzvah Josh was not
Why not?
there. There, that's all that was in the archive.
But you didn't send it there.
And it was, I mean,
I could send it there, it's burned in the fire.
you can probably say now, and they asked, and I said, the archivist said, well, who has your archives? I mean, if you've been around for so long, like, you're thinking a different language than most synagogues think, right? We really don't have such
It's in a
thing.
closet.
But, I have dead files and I have minutes from 1950s on, but we don't have much before that. We're a few pictures, and yeah, because as buildings change and as rabbis change and executive directors change, stuff gets lost. It just does. I'll try to do a better job for us, for future posterity, but who knows? Anyway, that's enough for now.
So what was special about the art room?
So it doesn't say. Let me see what the. So it's from a newspaper, but it doesn't. Well, there are 2 things that are special about it, but I don't know that in the public interest it's special. So I'm doing another one this week, but it's okay. And of course it says Temple B'nai Abraham, Oakland, California,
Right.
is now finding new inspiration in worshiping in the sanctuary. The ark doors are bronze and consist of the injunction from Micah. It has been told thee, O man, what is good and what does the Lord require? To do justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with God. According to Rabbi Schulweis, who decided what phrase went on there, that was unique because most arks would say, know before whom you stand, and this was different for the time. Maybe. A lot of places have it. I don't know if he just thought it was different or it was different. Interestingly enough, Sinai has the same thing on their ark when they remodeled in the early 2000s. And then it says the entire area was designed and executed by Victor Reese, who was sort of a major artist of the time, albeit prolific, but not that well known. Anyway, yeah, that's it.
Well known by us.
Good old B'nai Abraham. All right, we will continue. Please rise for the Kiddush, page 55.
Yeah, Abraham. Perfect.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kedshenu mitzvotav ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho v'avav ratzon hinchilanu zikaron l'maaseh bereshit ki hu yom techilah l'mikrayei kodesh zecher l'tziat mitzrayim imanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta
Mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodechecha v'aval ratzon minchatanu Baruch atah Adonai v'kadesh ha'shabbat. Amen. L'chaim to life. And Daphne gets to put her hands on the heads of her two kids and anyone else who wishes to bless someone who they're next to and is comfortable blessing. Yisimcha Elohim k'Ephraim v'chim Menashe, Yisimech Elohim k'Sara, v'yivcha Rachel v'Leah, Yivarech Adonai v'yishmerecha, Yer Adonai p'nav elecha v'yichunecha, Yisad Adonai p'nav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God bless you and keep you. May God's face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May God lift the divine face toward you and grant you peace. Now, there's another mother-daughter in the room too, right? So, yeah, excellent. Page 57. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol l'ateit v'l'aleh v'ser b'reishim shelo asanu k'goyei haratzot v'lo samanu k'mishkavot ha'adama shelo sam chelkeinu kahem v'kol ha'aleinu k'chol hamonam v'nachnu orim u'mizkachamim u'bodim v'kei melech v'ochem amlachim ha'kadosh ha'rehu She'unot shamayim ve'yosef haaretz u'Moshe v'karov hashamayim b'ma'al u'shchinat uzo begof emiromim u'Eloheinu einod and malkeinu efezulato kakatu betorato v'datayom v'hashivota Elevavecha ki Adonai hu Elohim b'shamayim v'ha'aretz mitachat einodeyo. Katubator techanayim loch le'olam va'ed v'ne'emar v'chaya Adonai v'melech al kol ha'aretz v'yom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. You may be seated as we lovingly recall the memory of our departed relatives and friends whose yortzites we observed during the coming week, thinking especially tonight of Rabbi Leo Abrami, that's a yortzeit for a member of our congregation who is also my colleague in Rhode Island, Dan Ben Zev, Betty Berkovich, H. Andre Blau, Nathan Blumstein, Vernon Albert Bonar, Hilda Brodke, Pearl Brodke, Dolores Kane, Samuel Devoren, Charles DeBear, Herman Eckhouse, Richard Fickus, Sidney Getzovitz, Ann Gore, Sarah Gordon, Blanche Grosskopf, Werner Gross, Dora Hertzman, Herman Hertz, Jack Kubalik, Israel Kurtz, Samuel Lampart, Richard Levitt, Alan Lee Lipset, Irving Lutz, Regina Mendel, Adolph Moore, Samuel Moses, the inimitable Hollywood starlet Shirley Pearl, Samuel Peters, Gail Raskin, and the beloved Paula Silver. We are also in the Shloshim for Kurt Kleinman, the father of Jim Kleinman, and we are in the Shiva for Ariel David, the father of Colleen David, and Colleen, our thoughts are definitely with you. He died in Chicago at the age of 92, having survived the Holocaust this past week, surrounded by his two loving daughters. Memories of all of them are with us. We ask all those who are in mourning or observing Yortzeit, as well as anyone else who would choose to do so, to rise from the mourner's Kaddish. At this time, I also want to mention there were at least a dozen Israelis killed in the past week through acts of terror. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei rabbah, v'yalmad yivrach yirutei, v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon, v'yomechon, v'chayechol beit Yisrael, v'agalav v'zman kari v'imru, amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevorach, v'yalamu me'om maya, Yitbarach, Vishtabach, Vitpa'ar, Vitromam, Vitnaseh, Vitadar, Vitalev, Vitalal, Shmei Kutsha, Barichu, Le'elam, Min Kol Berchata, V'shirata, Tushbechata, V'nechemata, Damiran, V'yalma, V'imru, Amen. Yehei Shlama, Rabba, Min Shemaya, Chaim, Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, V'imru, Amen.
Osei Shalom B'Mroma. Huya Osei Shalom. Aleinu ve'al Kol Yisrael. V'imru Amen. Zichronam Livracha. Remember the people you want to say.
10 meters. And I know too many people who got it at the same time.
All right, some announcements. First, thank you, of course, to Josh Mailman for our streaming tonight and for allowing the nearly 20 of you, I think, who were watching online to be here. Tomorrow, the bad news is there's no Kiddush lunch, so a lot of you
By that,
will stop paying attention right now. Because of the spring fundraiser on Sunday, the formerly known as the Gala Gourmet. But there's some pretty cool things happening. 3 Torahs. We read from 3 separate Torahs. Hallel. 3 Torahs and 3 teens leading the service, actually.
Nice.
Charlotte Raganes and Noah Gutkin and Julia Johnson will be leading most of the service, and they're fabulous. And
Fantastic.
Noah and Charlotte go to school together at Head Royce, and they said they've been working on harmonies all week at lunchtime.
Right.
How cool is that?
that's funny.
Head Royce Harmonies.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that should be a lot of fun. And then I'll be talking a little bit about my Cincinnati trip and some things that are going on in the movements as well. And I want to also wish a mazel tov to Matthew Jaffe and Lucia Macias on the birth of their daughter, Alma Aeneas Jaffe. So it's exciting. And I saw the big sister today at Kinder Gym. She was all smiles, so things are going well. And it's too late to sign up for that dinner. So let's see, what else will we, sell your chametz. And then also we've got a discussion of the Israel trip coming up on Tuesday night. Israel trip in June of 2023. If you're interested, please come to that Zoom meeting and or contact me if you cannot make that Zoom meeting. All right. Well, there's a movie coming up too. The film club is discussing dough and also matzah. What's the
Straits.
is that what it's called? The movie's called Straits. So we're discussing chametz umatzah. For those who know the 4 questions, it's true. It's true. I mean, it sounds like a joke, like a bad joke, but it's actually true. It's not meant to be a joke. That is the
With
topic.
Michael Rose as a guest.
And yes, bread maker Michael Rose
Our
of
Michael
Semi
Rose?
Freddy's.
Yeah.
Our Michael Rose. All right, that's it. We're going to do another one that's not in the book. Just sing Shir LaShalom, Song for Peace, in hopes and prayers that this terrorism does not continue and doesn't lead to anything worse. Lula shemesh la'alot leboker le'ha'ir chazaka shabbat tfilot otanu lo tachzir mi asher kavanero uve'afar iman bechina lo ya'iro lo yachziro lechan ish otanu lo yashiv mipor tach yitafel kan lo yo'ilu lo simchat hanitzachon velo shirei hallel lachen rak shiru shir shalom al tilchashu tefila mutav tashiru shir shalom Tzaka Gadola. Give the sun a chance to shine on all of nature's flowers. Don't look back on what has passed, the future is still ours. Look ahead with hopes and dreams, not through sight of a gun. Sing a song of love, not war, and peace will have begun. Don't
say that the day may come. Now's the time to care. We all should know that now's the time to sing for peace in every village square. Lachen ra shiru shir shalom atil chashu tefillah utach tashiru shir shalom v'tzedaka gadola. Shiru shir shalom. Shabbat shalom.